today? Welcome back to my channel. I thought today we could do something that I enjoy eating when I was not a vegan to kick off the summer with. So it's right now it's Memorial Day weekend, and I'm gonna show how to make vegan burger patties that kind of resemble real burger. So if you enjoy eating like Impossible Burger or Beyond Burger, you can actually make it at home knowing exactly what you're putting into the burger. I do like Impossible Burger more than Beyond, but you can't get those at the store. You can get Beyond Burgers at like Costco and like grocery stores, but I find that the Beyond Burgers have this weird aftertaste, like something artificial. I don't know. When I take a few bites, it tastes good, and then afterwards I taste like that fake meat flavor that I kind of don't care for. So Samantha's like, "You're filming again?" But yeah, what we're gonna need, we're gonna just get right into the recipe. So this recipe I use to make burgers and as well as pork sausage. You know, like those breakfast patty sausages that like they put it into like biscuit sandwiches in the morning. I'm gonna show you how to make that also. So that's gonna be a separate video, but it's gonna be kind of like, you'll see what I mean. So before I keep rambling on, I have 2 cups of texture vegetable protein. To this, I'm gonna add all my dry ingredients. So I've modified this recipe to have texture vegetable protein as well as WTF seitan. So this original recipe did not have the WTF seitan in it, but I've been making it so much lately. I have like bags of it in the freezer in the food saver cryo pack. So when you need it, I just pop it into the microwave and thaw it, and then use it as a meat source. So yeah, today I'm going to show you how to make a modified version of this vegan burger that is gonna, like, the texture is gonna freak you out. So we have 2 cups of the Tbsp here, and then we're gonna add 4 tablespoons of methyl cellulose. So if you don't know what methyl cellulose is, it's basically called meat glue. So this powder actually binds proteins together. So when you go to like a grocery store that's not so reputable, sometimes they take scraps of like trims of steak, and then they use this powder to glue it together to make it look like a whole piece of steak, and they charge you like a premium price for it. So yeah, I know it's shady, right? So, and then I have 1 tablespoon of mushroom powder. Oh, you can find methyl cellulose online. That's how I bought mine. And they're all pretty much food grade. So then I have 3 tablespoons of pea protein powder. It's gonna add extra binding power on top of the methyl cellulose, and additional source of protein. 1 tablespoon of garlic powder, 1 tablespoon of onion powder, and then 1 tablespoon of beet powder. The beet powder is gonna add that kind of like well, it's gonna give it that pinkish color. So when you cook it, it's gonna look excuse me, I'm just inhaling the powder. It's gonna give you that color and the feel of like medium rare kind of burger. Even though you cook it for a long time, it's gonna have that pinkish color. So once we have all the dry ingredients in here, I'm going to kind of mix it up, toss it, and then we have about a pound of WTF seitan. So I have it right here. See, it's in my food saver. I just went ahead and thawed it out in the microwave. We're not going to add it in big chunks like this. So I'm going to use my little food processor. I'm going to place about half of this seitan in here. And I'm just going to pulse it until it breaks down into little chunks. So I mean, those of you that used to eat meat, you're gonna know what I'm talking about. When you ate a burger, it was kind of like the fat part was like kept the fat kind of like kept the burger kind of juicy, and then there was like parts of the burger that was a little bit chewy too. Because I mean, let's face it, they put, unless if you're at like a gourmet restaurant and they grind the meat themselves, usually ground meat is all the scraps put into the grounder to make burgers. So don't be grossed out, but that's the truth, you know. Especially being in the industry for like 26 years. So when I seitan pieces are like this, into small chunks. So these are gonna give extra texture to our burger. Now that we have all the protein in here, we're going to add our liquids together. So I have 2 cups of just tepid water. Mine's filtered water. You can use bottled water if you want, or you can use tap water if you trust your tap water. I have about 1.5 tablespoons of soy sauce. That's going to give it that umami flavor also. And then 1.5 tablespoon of, I'm using rice vinegar. If you want to just use plain white vinegar or even apple cider vinegar, you can. So once I add my wet ingredient to this, I'm going to mix it up all together. Now you could mix it up with your hand if you want, but I really don't want my hand to turn pink, so I'm using a spoon. So what you're going to notice right away is that the methyl cellulose reacts right away with water. So, I mean, there are some chunks in here that formed right away, and you can tell right on the spoon that it's like formed a bond right there. So kind of take it apart with your hand and mix it in. And do mix it well, because we want all that liquid to rehydrate the Tbsp, and also for the methyl cellulose to react with the, once the Tbsp is rehydrated, it's going to bond with the seitan and then the methyl cellulose. So methyl cellulose is activated by liquid. So if you put only dry ingredients, it's not going to bind anything. So it's already starting to look like ground meat. Now this part, like the vegans who've never had meat before might freak you out, but like someone like me who's had burger before, this is iron supplement. It's vegan from the Natural Health Store. It's a dietary supplement. You can get it at any health food store. So let me see if the camera adjusts. If not, oh well. So you can find it at any health food store. This will give it that kind of like bloody flavor. Don't get grossed out. But I think, well, because I know what that tastes like, I think it will be okay for me. But for those of you who do not want your burger to taste like burger, then don't put this in. I'm gonna put a good amount, and plus, as vegans, we lack iron as a food source with our food source. So unless if you're eating a lot of seaweed, or kale, or you need to eat a lot of those to get the right amount of iron in your daily intake. So I put 3 big squirts of it from my stopper. And that's gonna give it that kind of like burger flavor, like that bloody, because there's a lot of iron in our blood, Have you ever like cut your finger while cooking and then you like put it in your mouth so the blood doesn't drip everywhere? Yeah, gross, right? But you know what blood tastes like if you ever had a cut while you're cooking. So it's already looking like ground beef. Look at that. Look how gorgeous this looks. And with this, you can make anything that you would out of ground beef. You can make chili with this. You can make bolognese with this. You use it like just like a ground beef, but you don't have to worry about not cooking it all the way. I mean, cooking it all the way because this doesn't have any raw meat, which like E. coli is like a big concern with ground beef, right? Yeah, you don't have to worry about that. So one thing that's missing in here is the fat. Usually ground beef, they add chunks of fat to it to give it that juiciness when you cook the burger. So how we incorporate fat into this, I took 1 cup of coconut oil and I kind of like placed it onto my sheet tray. I'm going to show you. So I have a sheet tray with about 1 cup of coconut oil right here, and I spread it out thin as I can and I placed it into the freezer so that it solidifies. Because what we're going to be doing, I put about 1 cup, so it will be about 12 to 15% fat when you put it into the burger. If you want it a little heavier, if you want, like when you buy ground beef, you can buy that anywhere from 10% to 30% fat, right? So if you like it extra fatty, I mean, you can put more if you want, but I'm putting 1 cup for this recipe. So what we're going to be doing is just make sure you chop it up. That's why I spread it out thinly. If you put it into the freezer, and this took about 10 minutes, if you put it into the freezer in like a small container and it's tall, it's gonna be a solid piece of like coconut oil that's really solid, and you're gonna have a hard time chopping it. So that's why I spread it out onto a silicone mat and a cookie tray, and I put it into the freezer for about 10 minutes. So once you have the coconut oil chopped like this, just throw it right into your Tbsp and seitan mixture. Look, it's already like burger, you know? So what I like to do is I like to make a big batch, even 2 times this batch. And I form my patties, freeze it, then put it all into Ziploc bags and just keep it in the freezer. And then whenever I feel like eating a burger, I don't even grill or bust out the frying pan. What I do is I put it into my wire convection oven rack, and I just put it on convection until the meat turns brown on the outside, and then like most of the fat drips out. It makes a really good burger that way. Or if you have like a what do you call that, air fryer, it works really well in there too. So yeah, look at this. Doesn't that look awesome? So to form this, I have about this is 3 3/4 inch ring, and I like to do 1/4 pound, which is 4 ounces. So I have a scale here, and what I did was I took a piece of plastic wrap and put it on there, because when I weigh it out, this meat mixture, even though it's fake meat, because of that beet powder, it's going to get all over the scale. And if you know, you don't really want to wash electronics, right? So I put a piece of plastic wrap there, and then I'm going to weigh out 4 ounces. Now if you want to do a 1/3 pound patty, you would go about 5 1/3 or 5 1/2 ounces of meat. So this is just a little over 4, and I'm fine with that. And then what I do is I just kind of like gently press it down. And the buns are actually, the ones that I buy are a little bit bigger than this, but what I'll do is I'll just push it out gently like this, so that it's just about the size of the bun. Okay, so once you have your burger pieces made like this, what I do is if I'm not going to use it that day, I'm going to stick it into the freezer. But if you keep it in the refrigerator for about, if you're going to use it that day, I would keep it in the refrigerator for about 10 to 15 minutes before you actually cook them. Because the methyl cellulose needs a little bit of time for it to bind the proteins together. So since I'm going to be freezing it, I'm just going to go right into the freezer, and then we're going to cook these bad boys as soon as I'm done with the forming recipe, okay? But before I cook the burger, look at this. Look how easy this cleanup is. My scale is nice and clean, ready for the next usage. So when I'm eating a burger or like some kind of sandwich, I really like spicy brown mustard. But you know, wherever I go, I just eat whatever mustard they have. But usually on a burger, I like a spicy brown mustard, and then sometimes ketchup, not all the time. I found this like, it says vintage Heinz ketchup. No, the ketchup is not 50 years old or anything, but it's a vintage recipe. It's a smoky one, and I bought this. I think I picked this up at the 99-cent store only. It said it's made with tomato concentrate from vine-ripe tomatoes, distilled white vinegar, and sugar. That's why I picked it up right away, because it didn't say high fructose corn syrup. So I've been avoiding anything with high fructose corn syrup. I don't like sodas to begin with, but like when I do sometimes drink it once in a blue moon, I try to drink like the Mexican ones, because those have real sugar in it instead of the high fructose corn syrup. Anyway, studies have shown blah 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 blah, blah that high fructose corn syrup is so much worse for you than actually consuming sugar. So yeah, look into that. I googled it. I did a whole research on it. So if you don't believe me, look it up yourself. Okay, so I'm gonna actually cook my burger, and see, these ones are ones that I have made before, and I took it up in the freezer and I just let it thaw on my counter for about 15-20 minutes, and they're looking really nice. I'm gonna use cast iron pan. I normally just pop it into the convection toaster oven, but I'm gonna just show you how you could cook it on a stovetop if you have to cook like 20 burgers for a party or something, you know. So if you wanted to actually put them on a grill, I would increase the methyl cellulose just to make sure that they're bound really well, because nothing worse than like vegan burger that falls to the grate, you know. So as it's getting hot, so I'm gonna do two different styles. Actually, I'm gonna bring some avocados that I have, but I'm gonna put avocados in my burger. I love avocados. So when the pan gets nice and hot, I'm just gonna place my patties. Oh, and I'm gonna make one teriyaki from my teriyaki sauce. If you haven't seen the video yet, I'll link it right here. I don't know which way to point because I always get it wrong. But one of these corners, I'm gonna put up the teriyaki sauce recipe. You see how like I didn't have any oil in here, and you see how like the coconut oil kind of just comes out and coats the pan. And then this cheese is the Ciao Bella. I think it's made with this is the brand that I always use. It's a vegan cheese that I think it's made with like rice flour. It smells like real cheese though. I need to figure out how to make this one day. So stay tuned for that video. I'm getting some nice brownings down here. It's a little hotter in the front here, so I'm going to move it here. And then as the coconut oil drips out, on my teriyaki burger, I'm going to grill some onions. The plain burger, I'm going to keep the onion raw. Oh, ouch, ouch. And I love pickles. So I'm going to put extra pickles on my burger. So while the onions are cooking and then the burgers burgering, I'm going to cook my bun. And this burger, you're not really like cooking it to cook it all the way through. You're just getting some color on here for flavor. This is pretty much done. So I'm just gonna put cheese on the plain one, plain cheeseburger. Oh, and then I'm gonna put teriyaki sauce on this one. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Can you see that teriyaki glaze on the burger? Oh my. So once the patties have good color, I'm just gonna cover it so the cheese kind of melts. Mustard. I think I did it back. It's okay. It's gonna taste delicious. I mean, this ketchup is so thick that it's gonna take days for it to come out. Do you see that? I'm gonna go ahead with my pickles on the bottom. Nothing worse than like pickles just oozing out. They put it right on top of the cheese, you know? See how much pickles I put? I love pickles. So this one will be the plain one. And then this one's gonna be my teriyaki. And then just for good measure, I'm gonna put a little more teriyaki sauce right on here, on the bun. So it'll soak up a little bit of that sauce. A little bit on the cheese too. And here's the lettuce. And then the grilled onions. Whoa. So if you like onions, but you don't like that, it gives you like really strong onions, breath afterwards. A way to combat that is that if you want the taste of onion, but you don't want that strong flavor, soak the sliced onions in ice water for about 10 to 15 minutes, and then take it out of the water and pat it down really dry. What that does is the cold water releases a lot of the acid that's in the onions, and it won't have that harsh onion flavor. It will give you that nice onion flavor, but without the harshness. Oh my, look at this burger. So here it comes. So the plain side, I'm gonna put some avocado. I also bought some steak cut fries. That's frozen. I just placed them into my convection toaster oven. I didn't cook a lot of it because I don't want to eat a lot of fries. I'd rather eat this burger. I mean, like, these fries are actually like pre-fried at lower temperature. So there's like a layer of fat around the fries. So you don't have to actually fry it to get it crispy. What I did was put it into the convection toaster oven, and I just like cooked it until they're golden brown. Whatever setting works for you, time it the first time, and see where, you know, because look, it's like French fries. I mean, it is French fries, but without the guilt. Just like the air fryer. So which one would you make? Would you make like the avocado burger, or would you like to make teriyaki burger like I just did? Okay, so I'm gonna taste it now. I mean, I don't know, I can't eat both of them. I'm gonna cut it in half. Oh, the buns are breaking already. Alright, I'll just take half. I'll just eat half and stop. Like that's gonna happen. So here's the teriyaki burger. It'll be fine. It looks like medium rare burger. But you don't have to worry about getting sick because there's no bacteria in here. There's no like E. coli. And the teriyaki flavor, delicious. I'm gonna give me a napkin because this is, and what I actually need to do is I'm gonna wrap this avocado burger because the juice is like, it's so juicy from the coconut oil, and then all the liquid that we put in here, that it's like my hand getting drenched with like juices from the burger. Look at this. The avocado, so delicious. Oh. And non-vegans always ask me, don't you miss eating a big fat juicy burger? I'm like, no, I can make my own, which is actually better for you, and I know exactly what's in it. The only time I would go and have like the Impossible Whopper or like Beyond Carl's Jr. is if I'm doing a road trip and there's nothing else around. That's the only time. But Even then, I tried to look for a Subway first. I just get a whole wheat sub with like all veggies only, and that's usually my go-to when I'm doing a road trip, a long road trip. But yeah, look at this. And there's no guilt French fries. Delicious. And then for the French fries, I'll put a little salt. For the fresh cracked pepper, that'll be like a salt and pepper dip. Oh, yum. Seriously, I think if I gave this to a non-vegan and told them it's a teriyaki burger, they would never know. How could you? Look at this. Do you see that? Come on, camera focus. With the same recipe, I'm going to show you how to make breakfast pork sausage that's vegan in the next video. And then I'm going to also make like a tofu scramble, so make it taste like real scrambled egg. There's an ingredient that makes it taste eggy, which is totally vegan. So I'm going to do that, and then maybe another video I'll do like a bolognese. I know some Italian people are gonna be like, you put garlic in your bolognese? I'm like, yeah. I know a lot of Italian people don't put it because they said that's a classic way of making it, but I also know that bolognese is a ragu taken from the French countryside, and then Italians have adapted it to their own like a ragu. So when the French made it, it always contained garlic. So, you know, if you know the food history, do what tastes good for you, okay? So, if you want to add something to this recipe that you find is much better for you, put it in and let me know in the comments what it is so that I can learn from that too. So, if you enjoyed this video, press the like button, share this with all your friends. I mean, it's good that we have so many vegan options in the fast food world too now, but because that means less animals will be hurt, you know, in the process. But it's also good to know what you're putting into your body. Just because it's plant-based or vegan doesn't mean that it's wholesome. You know, you should control what you put into your body. So that's why I'm a big advocate for eating at home, or like going to a mom and pop restaurant and supporting those restaurants instead of like huge corporations, you know. So anyways, that's enough rambling for me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Press the like button, subscribe if you haven't. I'll see you next time. Bye.